Cardinals, Dodgers, and Giants win. Chris Paul hits the game winner with a second left as the Clippers eliminate the Spurs 111-109. Rangers over the Capitals 3-2. They're even at 1. Floyd Mayweather Jr. becomes the unified welterweight world champion as he defeats Manny Pacquiao in a unanimous decision. And American Pharoah beats Firing Line by a length to win the Kentucky Derby. That's the Bloomberg Sports Update. I'm Joel Stern.
Sunday Brunch with Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Radio continues. His guest, the Chief Technology Officer of the United States, Megan Smith. And once again, here's Charlie Rose.
Silicon Valley, you know well. It is said that there are not nearly as many women as should be out there doing that work. Why is it?
I think it comes from many things, but I think one of the fundamental ones was that when we got, it comes as the personal computer came. We kind of bought them for our boys. I have a friend who had to get a key when she was growing up to her brother's room to go in and do coding. We're like our boys and our husbands, they all have these computers, and so the women weren't in on it. And so if you were coding, again, practice makes permanent in tech. The more you play with it, less testing, more toys. The more you play with it, the more you come to understand it. And so the young men were doing that, and they're growing up and making these great companies. And I think we got on a trajectory. There's a lot of unconscious bias across so much of what happens. If there's a job with 10 characteristics, women will apply if they have 7, and men will apply if they have 3 on average. And so that doesn't mean anyone's wrong. We're humans. We are how we are. It's just that if you're managing people, you have to notice that. There's a bunch of people with their hands up, a bunch of people without their hands up. Amongst that group, choose the best person for the job. Be more conscious.
It's not necessarily who has their hands up.
Right. Also, venture capital, 3% of venture money is coming to women. We need to change that. It's extraordinary. Also, just people of color. People are underrepresented. We've got to get them in. The president's done a terrific job with Council of Women and Girls that he launched, tribal outreach, My Brother's Keeper, veteran outreach. And what we're doing is tech folks coming in. Every time we're working, we launched a thing called Tech Hire.
So why? Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, on Tech Hire, it's a very specific idea, which is using these coding boot camps, these 3-month new kind of training practices that you can take so you can train in months, not years, and then helping the employees who are starving for people. We have 5 million jobs open in the U.S., 500,000 of them in tech, and they're not the ones you need a graduate degree. Some of them are entry level. How do we help the employers, take people who have different kinds of qualifications coming out of a short course, veterans and other people who they weren't pulling in, and get them into tech?
You see this as a mandate for you as the Chief Technology Officer?
Yeah, we not only from an economic imperative for competitiveness, and making sure that our companies have the people that they need as soon as possible, but also from the more diverse the team, the better the products. So we know that it's proven. So pulling people into that. Also, the jobs are all over the country. I was just in St. Louis, and the Launch Code team, which is the incubator and boot camp folks there, were opening a share space, a new space for youth, 16 to 21, 24, to come in the north side of St. Louis and join into tech. I mean, the jobs pay 50% more than the average salary. So we want these guys, everybody in, and really to have these fun collaborative careers and not feel like it's so far away. How are they going to train for that? Just feel accessible.
Do you worry about the future of artificial intelligence and robotics because one takes jobs, the other can, with increasing technology and software, reaching new levels, can produce things that, if not somehow regulated, we may not like the consequences?
Yeah, I think it's very important to be incredibly mindful around all of these areas and participating. The best results happen when you team up and lots of different kinds of people working together. So one of the things I love, whether it's around AI or cyber, whatever, getting closer to the best technologists in America. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter was just out in Silicon Valley opening a new center at Moffett Field. It's a really...
A new center for
sort of a reserve center and an innovation center so that the DOD teams are right there with each other.
So this is a center for DOD.
Yes.
So it's kind of a research and developmental center for the Department of Defense.
Yeah, and same as the United States Digital Service, which is more about the websites and digital government and the back end of stuff, not so much defense only, any topic. They've opened up at UN Plaza in San Francisco. So you're starting to see, they're also in many other cities. They're here in New York. We call them the 18F team because they're on 18th and F.
Talk out loud about it. This is a so-called smartwatch it's called an Apple Watch, as you know. It can do all kinds of things, and I'm just citing this as one, in terms of acting as a medical sensor.
Sure. Amazing.
What's the future of that?
Yeah, so the quantified self.
Yes.
The president launched the precision medicine. Yes, quantify us. The president launched the precision medicine initiative to really help us get better at the interoperation of health data, make sure that we're looking both economically and also privacy and security around this stuff. There's such an opportunity to really do personalized or precision medicine for individuals and really help with wellness as well as cures. Wellness being if you can monitor a little bit more about yourself, you might catch disease, but you also may be able to monitor and help yourself become more healthy, especially with our youth.
So is what excites you most? Is it the extension of all the things we know, or is it some unknown thing that most excites you, that you think might be around the corner, but you're not quite sure when and how?
Yeah, my favorite thing is what I sort of think about, what this is all about is unlocking human talent and creativity.
Right.
I just met someone, you were talking about manufacturing, who's actually using UAVs. Siemens is using UAVs in factories just to help make things more efficient and effective, or whether it's somebody doing some kind of measurement of themselves for their health or actually to cure cancer, or whether it's just a brilliant storyteller, somebody who's got a story to tell and being able to use, YouTube or Facebook technologies or Twitter, just this opportunity to help scrub more talent in. And then you talked about robotics. Can we get the robots to do some of the harder, dirtier, tougher jobs and get the humans out of that? That's a pretty exciting thing.
What should be, we're coming up on a presidential campaign. We'll enter the primary season and then the general election, the last part of 2016. What should be the debate about science?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think President Obama has done an extraordinary job. We have an it's so fun to come into this team. People think government is so bureaucratic. I find it incredibly entrepreneurial. I find talent everywhere. We've been missing what I call TQ, like IQ and EQ technical stuff, but the president's bringing us. But I think we have a science-forward leader, and I hope that the next leader, whoever's coming, will be science-forward. Science and technology in the 21st century, together with extraordinary humanities, when we do this together, we get amazing results. And so the more we can have, say our congressional officials, everybody be more technical. And just to show you something,
show me. You brought me something.
Well, these are just some simple boards there. This is Raspberry Pi. It's made in the UK. This is Arduino. It's just really the board for your cell phone. Right? I was up at Montclair South Berkeley High School, which is one of the Ferguson schools, sitting with these great young women, looking at this and talking about Steve Jobs and how Steve Jobs had, with Wozniak, made the homebrew. His board, their board, the first Apple basically was, bigger in its thing. Now we have these. How do we help our young people be technically literate as well as, sort of reading and writing, all those pieces?
How do we add it to a core curriculum?
Yeah, have it there. And so with these great kids from Ferguson, they knew exactly what all this I/O was because they have their phone and they could see that. And we were talking to them. We had some other kids there for the robots team about joining in the higher level varsity robotics side. But why don't all our children have a technical literacy? We have this weird idea that, you would never have someone say, yeah, reading, it wasn't really my thing at school. Nobody ever says that, but they do say math, it wasn't my thing.
That's right.
And so we have to change our expectations for everyone and also change how we teach so it's more fun.
Is this simply more than putting science and technology and the digital revolution at the front rank?
Yeah, equal.
Equal.
Yeah, equal.
That's what I mean by
Not as an implementation thing, but as something we do together, equal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the president has done.
It should be on the front line with all reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah, and I tell young people the universe doesn't separate like biology class and English class and PE. The universe is all merged, so you need to know all this stuff.
What's this thing?
This is an Arduino. It's a very similar kind of motherboard. They make them in the U.S. Just the same thing, just a simple board with a chip and its I/O. And for young people, the UK is now teaching all from second grade. They have these boards and they're teaching coding, but they're teaching it with the hardware, so kids can understand that.
Are they ahead of us in terms of application of the digital revolution in governance?
Mixed. We work really closely with them. They actually formed something called the D5, which is like the G8. The D5 are UK, South Korea. The Digital 5 countries.
The 5 biggest countries in terms of
being really online, using open source.
Penetration.
Yeah, Estonia, for example, it's a smaller country, but all of the parents and children and teachers are all online
let's
communicating.
See the D5. Who are they?
South Korea.
Yes.
New Zealand.
Is that number one? South Korea's number one?
I think they are all in different positions.
Okay.
And we're working to join. So South Korea, New Zealand, Israel.
Now, why New Zealand?
I don't know why. Just somebody there probably has their act together and has pushed. Or maybe they had a crisis. UK had a healthcare.gov crisis like us that caused them to wake up to digital, like our president, and so they brought them.
To repeat, okay, you've got South Korea, Israel,
New Zealand, New Zealand, and Estonia.
That's amazing.
And Estonia actually has written this great back end, and so they are, Finland is using it, Palestine, other people are using it. We're working to join the D5. What it means to join the D5 is really having open source government. If you go to analytics.usa.gov today, you're starting to see our analytics published. They're doing that. And also all those countries are working to teach code to all children in the country, just like you teach reading, so that the children have a fluency with this 21st century stuff.
Thank you to Charlie Rose and his guest, Megan Smith. A reminder, you can watch Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Television weeknights at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. on Dish Network Channel 203. We're glad you're spending your Sunday morning at our brunch with Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Radio.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. 2/3 of the planet is made up of it. The human body is said to be 60% of this stuff, but there just isn't enough of it.
All day I face the barren waste without the taste of water, cool water.
So in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
News, traffic, weather, every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. 1230 WBCT.
West Palm Beach.
Weather, every 10 minutes on 1230 WBCT.
It's going to be another beautiful afternoon for us. We'll have partly sunny skies and highs in the low 80s. The humidity will still be low this afternoon too, so it will feel nice outside. The main thing you'll notice today is the wind. It can gust as high as 30 miles per hour, so make sure you bring in any loose items. Rain isn't expected for us today, but heavy rains do return next week. The wettest 2 days next week will be Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Tyler Malden for 1230 WBZT.
This report is brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. When danger is imminent, will you be prepared? Now, many mobile devices can bring you critical information from local sources you trust. With a unique sound and vibration, wireless emergency alerts keep you in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts.
Flo from Progressive here, making deliveries with Greta, who has her own flower shop.
Greta's Great Green Thumb.
Yep. Greta is saving a bunch of money on her commercial auto insurance with discounts like Safe Driver, Business Experience, and Paid in Full. Right, Greta?
Righty-o.
Righty-roo.
Correct-amundo.
Yes, sirree.
Wait, who are you calling sir?
What? No one. I thought we were doing a thing. No?
Yeah, no.
Discounts to save your business money. Visit Progressive.com to learn more. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Brian Mudd's Cheat Sheet every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. 1230 WBCT.
The following views are those of the host and not those of Clear Channel Broadcasting licenses.
Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County, so if you or somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon. And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Let me first say good morning to everybody. Hi, Colleen, our producer. Hi, Freddy from AM2.tv.
Good morning.
Who powers the show. And we have that beautiful Linda sitting over there on the computer. And then, who else do we have here? Dr. Pannozzo.
Just me.
Just me. Oh, I see you got your Ohio State hat.
Yes, it's my favorite hat.
Well, you went to one of the best schools in the country.
It was very nice, yeah.
So now, when you were there and you were learning all this stuff that every other doctor is taught, when did you decide that, you know what, they're wrong?
When I went into practice, and that was 1968.
Wow, a long time, huh?
I opened my first office in 1968, and we started doing these things. And I said, you know what, this does not work. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting the results I need.
So all that,
to be competitive, you have to be competitive. You have to get good results. You have to have people talking about you, like, oh, I met the best doctor. He took care of me in one day. That's what you want people to say, and they say it now, and it's true.
Well, how long did it take you to get those people to understand what you do? I mean, you're bucking a lot of high and mighty guys there that work at hospitals and everything else.
We're bucking everybody, and I don't care, because I have my own career, and I survive by my results, and they are excellent. That's what we're doing here. We're giving information.
Yeah, and, we're not trying to sell you. The one thing you don't see us selling you anything. We're here really to educate the public on something that's everybody's.
Unless you want to buy my book.
Yeah, you can buy his book. Tell him where to go, Freddy, to get that book.
But the book is educational, and there's no footnotes in it.
Right.
You know why? Because these are all my ideas.
You go to PayPal and get Dr. Pannozzo's book anytime you want.
You go to Pannozzo.tv.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Pannozzo.tv has it. Amazon has it. A lot of places.
So if you go to Pannozzo.tv, they can. It's very funny with the draft coming just done. Freddie was telling me a story. Freddie, could you tell our listening audience what it was that you discovered from talking to these people that Dr. Pannozzo had the answer before we went on the air?
Well, the first thing I want to say is thank you, Dr. Pannozzo, for wearing that hat. Because my New York Jets drafted a wide receiver.
Okay.
From Ohio State.
Very nice.
So I'm very happy about that. Very happy. They had a great draft. Kids in the draft, torn ACLs, dropped. Curley was the only one to survive. He got taken in the 10th by the Rams. Everybody else, all these injuries just dropped them out. Then I looked at the undrafted list. Over 200 players are on that list.
Really?
And what happens now is that they get to pick who they want to negotiate with, so that's the upside. But they're locked into $450,000 to $750,000 contracts. Now, that's a lot of money for a normal person, a normal job, but in the business, it's small change.
Oh, because you have a short lifespan.
And injuries, that's right.
Well, so the question was?
Well, the question was, if I had a blue chipper in the top 10, like a Curly, who had a torn ACL, should have gone number 3, number 6, number 7. I mean, he ended up going 10th, so I can't argue. But the question is, can you help an athlete with an alleged torn ACL?
Yes, before and after. I don't believe that you could hurt an ACL. The way it's positioned in the body, you can't get to it. There's too much protecting it. on these pictures, well, here's the ACL. See?
Can you see it, Freddie? Yeah.
And it's short. It goes from this. It goes from the femur to the tibia, and it's this long. That's all.
About an inch, inch and a half.
Yeah. And what it does is it keeps those bones together so that rotation could take place.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't get to it because there's a huge amount of ligament structure around it before you get to it.
Talking to your mic.
Remember, this ACL is in the middle. The protecting mechanism of the ligament structure is on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
You have to rupture that to get to this.
Wow.
And you can't do that.
Really?
Nobody ever mentions it. Why? Well, figure it out.
Let me see if I can
you're
figure this out.
You're not going to operate on the other one. And usually when I see those, we just treat the periphery, the ligament structure around the knee,
Right.
and it goes away.
And it never come back.
No, it does not come back.
And they can play the next day.
Play the next day and know that the inside of that knee is normal. And that's the first thing when I examine the knee, I tell the people right off, your inside of your knee is normal. Your problem is on the ligament. I show them the picture, and everybody gets better. Remember, we talked about this before. The ligament structure that's causing the trouble is only about 3 inches of maybe a 20-inch knee. It's only about 3 inches. That's all, and not on the inside. That's what people got to understand is go to the anatomy and check me out. I'm telling you.
Now, Doc, I got a question. The ACL will heal itself over time, won't it?
You can't get to it.
But I'm just saying, the pain will subside and it will...
Absolutely. You can put a shot in it. You don't have to operate that.
Even, I mean, not saying they don't do the shot.
Yeah.
Just if they were to bear the pain, will it heal itself?
But your question assumes that the ACL is painful. I'm telling you, you can't get to it.
Okay. Does it create swelling around the knee?
The problem is on the outside,
right?
Not the inside. There is no pain fibers on the inside of the knee. So when you say the ACL is painful, that's baloney. There's no pain fibers. Remember that. You need a nerve going. You need a nerve going from that joint up to the brain to qualify, and you don't have it. There is no pain fibers on the inside of the knee. They stop on the ligament surrounding. Okay.
So
what are you feeling when they tell you your ACL is painful? What are they telling you?
But this is my question. This is what I was
It's garbage. It doesn't happen.
What about stability, Doc?
It can't happen. No.
Stability of the knee.
No, stability has nothing to do with it.
So then, when they tell a kid, I think we have a question. Tell a kid that his knee won't be stable if he doesn't have the surgery. Are they just scaring him?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a scare tactic once again. It's
yeah,
like
there are a lot of things that are done. For instance, if you have a knee and you don't want to get operated, they'll send you to the therapy. Well, why not send it to another doctor who actually treats this? No, they send it to the therapy. In other words, drop your standard of care so that you're going to get worse because the therapist doesn't understand any of this. They're not taught that, just like the physicians aren't taught that.
Okay,
I'm taught that because I do this kind of work every day.
So basically, you're saying you're gonna remove the inflammation, you're gonna take away the pain, and let him heal, and get him back on the field.
Right.
And the knee will be stable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to figure out in my own warped brain is why doesn't somebody who's paying millions and millions and millions of dollars for this athlete call you? That's where I get confused.
This is what I'm. Yeah. I got an anonymous tape with them showing the whole procedure. I just went through this with Doc.
Well, how do you get to these owners? You know, they're in a different world. They're in a cloud somewhere, and they have their surgeon. They have a contract with them. Yeah. A surgeon's the last one you want a contract with. Well, you want a medical guy who can pick a surgeon. See? It's a little different thought. You can still get the surgery, but at least you have someone who's responsible to pick the right guy.
That's right.
You know, like years ago when I come out of school, if you didn't have good results, you got no referrals from the other doctors.
Right.
But now it doesn't matter because they can skip right over to somebody else. I mean, it's just the whole thing is upside down.
Well, it's a $10 billion industry, Doc, and the good old boys don't want.
Well, yeah, it's like anything else. Now when I see them go to the guy on the field and they're turning his leg and sending him for therapy, I'm saying to myself as I'm watching the game, you stupid. Blah, blah, blah.
First thing that
Send him to Dr. Pannozzo.
If I even found one of them to talk to one,
right?
they would call their orthopedic surgeon right away. I heard this, and the guy would say, "Forget that. It doesn't work." And the owner would say, "Okay." This actually happened I treated someone who was very close to the owners of the basketball team in Miami.
The Heat?
The Heat.
Can't say that.
And we just got so far, and that's it, because the surgeons turned the whole idea down, and the owner went with it. He didn't want the problem. Bad mistake. It's a bad CEO. You should never make decisions based on that. Controversy is with you no matter where you go. If you can't treat that, then you shouldn't have that job.
Well, the funny thing is that now when you have a concussion, now I think there's an independent. They're trying to make it. They don't want you on the field if you have a concussion. I mean, what did they just pay? $800 million because of the lawsuit with the concussions and everything else. So now they don't want you on the field if you have a concussion. A lot of teams give you aspirin,
you can't
put you back on the
diagnose
field.
a concussion, so I think that's another big.
Well, they give you a test and they say what's today's day, and they tell you.
How can they?
Friday.
How do they tell it's a concussion? You're right.
You can't remember your name.
Oh.
That's a test they give you. What's your name? I don't know. Okay, you're off the field.
I'd like to see what the questions are, because they're probably not related.
Well, it's not, because when a fighter gets hit and he comes up, the first one says, "What's your name? What day is it?
Where are you?
What city are you?" And they ask
how much are you? How old are you? Is another good one.
How old is he? Right.
I don't know why, Doc. But the bottom line is they bring these doctors on the field now because they don't want teams to do what they did last year. I think 3 players, they put them back in the game. They had concussions. They put a player back in that had internal bleeding. The kid from the Buccaneers almost died. He had a bleeding spleen, and they put him back in the game
because it's money.
$10 billion.
It's money.
$10 billion a year is a lot of money.
Yeah, well, you don't have hardly enough time to diagnose that kind of thing.
Agreed.
Now, if it's a bone, a joint where you can get to it, you can feel it. That's a different story. But
what about the investigation of the NFL being investigated about carrying drugs?
Well, that's
painkillers
another,
across state lines by the FBI.
Well, that's a management issue, and there should be no drugs.
But they're using the drugs to stop the pain so the guy can get back on the field.
Yeah, but that's not the same kind of drug they're investigating.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to quote something that was in WebMD that you've spoken about for so many times, and now I have documentation that said what you said. I went to the different websites to find out about drugs, and one of them said it's called tramadol and dilaudid. And it said, this doesn't help cure anything. It's just sending information to the brain.
That's absolutely true.
The brain.
And the drug they're pushing a lot. I mean, they're spending billions of dollars to push this drug for diabetic nerve pain, which does not exist.
Neuropathy.
It doesn't happen.
Diabetic retinopathy, right?
It absolutely doesn't happen.
So basically
neuropathy is a dying back. You get less sensation, not more.
That's right.
If a nerve is sick, how does it give you more pain? It can't. It's just... the reasoning process is not there. It's very bad. And I treated this. I'm trained in this stuff. That was my training in how to diagnose these things.
So you don't give drugs, right?
Treat them.
You don't give medicine, right?
No, we don't need to.
Okay. Because out of all of the drugs that they give, they're saying the same thing. It doesn't cure what you have. It's sending a message to the brain letting them know that you have no more pain.
Not only that, but not everybody can diagnose where the pain in the foot comes from.
Right.
You really have to be adept at this. That could come all the way from the lower back.
That's right. You've shown that to me.
Will affect the foot.
Yeah.
And we know that, Leah.
We know that, Leah. We know it from Freddy.
All right.
And we know it from me.
And we treat this all the time.
I was a two-shotter.
People come in there with foot pain, and I say, your foot is normal. I can move it around. I can touch it. No, it's normal. So it's better coming from somewhere else. So we go to the back, fix that, pain gone.
Well, to me, like our girl Leah, who swears by you and sends people over here, which we know, and she said it still to this day amazes her that she was going to the podiatrist to have a boot and a shot in her ankle. And she didn't have to do that because it wasn't the ankle. I always say to people, you sometimes a doctor isn't God. Nobody's God. There's only one God.
I am.
Well, you're God because
you should question the doctor.
You should everybody.
You should even question Dr. Pannozzo. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, if you Dr. Pannozzo is very, he's a very articulate man, and if you want to question him, by all means, but bring in some factual stuff. Why go and get your knee operated, your back operated?
I forgot to tell you one more fact.
I mean, come on,
Doc. The opposite knee, when you have an ACL surgery, 89% of the other knee gets injured because you tend to put more weight on it after you have the surgery.
Oh, you favor the other leg.
Yeah, you favor the other leg.
You never really get rid of the problem. Now remember, it's not inside that hurts, it's the outside. There's no pain fibers on the inside of the knee.
Right.
All right. Got to remember that. That's the
part people can't get over.
They can't get over that fact. I mean, they have a pain. It must be cartilage. No, can't be.
I got a foot pain. Let me soak my foot. So they get the swelling now. They think the pain's gone. It comes back the next day, and you're looking in the wrong place.
Well, there are it's in the history. If people would think a little bit, how do I get this pain?
They don't know.
Do I get it laying down? Well, if I'm getting it laying down, it can't be a joint. Must be referred, see? That quick. Doesn't take much.
Real, okay.
If you're laying down and the pain comes and it's referred.
Right.
I'll be damned.
Well, I mean, we're here to kind of educate people. To me, every website I've gone to, everywhere I've researched, if you don't believe me, you could go to gotodrugs.com. You could go to WebMD. Just go on the internet. I mean, it'll show you the same thing that this young fellow here is telling you. You don't need surgery. Let that be your last resort. This isn't me now.
There isn't everybody that can be a diagnostician. You have to know your stuff.
Right.
Musculoskeletal system that we use diagnoses just about anything, and it's all clued by what you say. That's why we sit down with someone and take a history, because they know where the pain is. I don't. They have to tell me, and you get the answer you get the answers when you talk to them, but you have to know what to ask. MRIs are not to be used for diagnosis.
Why?
Everybody's going to say, "Oh,
yeah.
Was he
I'm
crazy?"
going to play devil's advocate. Well,
I'm not crazy. No, I'm not crazy.
No, before you give it, if anyone wants to challenge Dr. Pannozzo, call the hotline at 800-889-0267. That's 800-889-0267, and he'll be more than happy to answer every question you want with the knowledge that it's the truth thing. I'm sorry, MRIs. Why do every orthopedic surgeon, every chiropractor look at MRIs?
Well, over the years, the reporting has favored the surgery. So there's a tear this, tear that, the bulging this, bulging that. And what's the last term that they use?
Bone on bone.
Yeah, bone on bone. We've heard that, right?
Bone on bone's a knee. For the lower back, use another term, which is
osteoarthritis.
Fancy term for subluxation, which means one bone is stuck on the other.
Bulging disc.
Could be that. I don't know what they mean by bulging disc. That doesn't happen. When I read these films, and I do my own, we don't see anything bulging. I mean, I don't know what they're reading. But anyway, it's not a diagnostic tool. It's only to help you. But the way they use it, if they say they have a bulging this or sublux that, they'll want to operate. They'll say, well, you see, here's your MRI. We can't do anything with this. You'll need a surgery. Well, that's when walk away. I mean, a good doctor knows how to treat things without a surgery, and if he doesn't want to do it, then get out of there. Same thing with me. If you don't want my treatment, get out of my office, because that's what I do.
Nothing else.
And I guarantee you on what I do, not on what you wanted me to do. See, that's the difference.
So for all you new listeners out there, when was the last time your doctor said, do the surgery, I guarantee you'll be walking new, you'll never have pain again? Think about that. Has it ever happened to you? Never happened to me?
I never took surgery.
Well,
they wanted to cut my knee open. And it wasn't my knee. A doc showed me it's my hip.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen, in other words, he was wrong, What are you going to do then?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you going to do then?
I did the best I could.
He'll say that. And you asked for it. You had so much trouble. This is the least we could do. This is what they talk about. So
you're not responding. Your body's not responding.
Well, let me ask you a question then, Doc. Okay.
I don't know what that means either.
I don't know either. I've heard it, though. Your body's not responding.
You get one for that, Freddie. So let me ask you. So when you come in, I want everyone to know one thing. The needle cannot affect anything in your body.
The needle? What needle?
I mean, when you give a shot.
Oh.
It can't affect anything. If you're on any medication, it doesn't affect anything.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Okay.
First of all, you have to have a target.
Yes.
If the target isn't proper, you're not going to get the relief, even in my office.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the rules that I go by. If I think there's a target there, and I'll ask you, can I take care of this? And you say yes or no. If you say yes, then we're in it together. I'm going to do my thing, and then I'm going to ask you, how do you feel? And if you say there's no relief there, then you're not leaving the office. I'm going to look again. Mm-hmm. Because there are a couple of places that cause the same kind of symptoms. Remember, pain is referred from structure, but you don't know where that structure is. You only know where it refers to. Okay, that's my problem. Where is it coming from? And it's very complicated, too, because you have to know physics, you have to know physiology of construction, how it's made. Why is a structure hurting you? Even if you know what it is, you still should know why it's hurting you, not only where. And we do all that for you.
And they don't teach that in school.
They do not teach any of this in school. And as a matter of fact, I had pretty good grades in physics, and we applied the physics principles to the back. And the neck and the shoulders, whatever weight-bearing organ there is. These principles are applied, weight-bearing. And then in my book, I have a chapter called The Physiology of Pain Production. Now, that sounds like an oxymoron, but pain is produced by physiology, the usage of structure, bones, and ligaments. So if you know where that is, then you can correct that. And usually pain of any long-standing duration is a physics problem. The structure is not bearing weight properly, so you have to know all that, where it is, why it is, how to correct it. And we do all that, and we do it in a day or two.
See, but that's the thing, that people see that you can rectify it so quickly, and it's not quickly. You've spent years studying this stuff.
No, it's all brain power, and as a matter of fact, at the end of the day, I'm pretty bushed because all I do is think all day. But hey, I like it. That's what I do.
I came in Tuesday to take Doctor to lunch so we could talk about other things other than medicine. And there was this gentleman, I don't remember his name, he was sitting with his wife, and he said, I said, how you doing? He said, I'll let you know in about 5 minutes. He wouldn't let me go to lunch until he was finished. And I said, how do you feel? He said, wow, man, amazing. I said, how long have you been coming here? He said, every time I have a pain, I come here. And he said, when I walk out of here, I'm 85% cured, and I wake up the next morning and I have no pain. He said, well, why do you keep coming back? He says, because I have pain in other parts of my body.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I always like everyone to know that when you're coming to see Dr. Pannozzo, he can only take care of the pain that you came in with. If you develop another pain somewhere else, he can't do it.
Well,
you're going to come back.
I could, but we don't know about it. See,
it's like the kid that came in with migraine headaches. Fixed his migraine headaches in 2 shots. Never came back again except for one thing. He got TMJ. And he fixed that. How many shots was that? One shot. So in other words, when someone comes in with TMJ, they don't have to wear that mouth guard anymore.
No, these are true stories.
Yeah, I know they're true.
Whoever's listening to that, you're not getting any makeup here.
No.
These are true stories.
And you know what? I got an idea. But that deal still works, right, Freddie?
Absolutely.
If you come in with the pain that you came in with, if you are not totally fixed, I will take you and your significant other to any restaurant you want to go to.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, you name it, I'll take you there. We'll sit there. We'll bring Dr. Pannozzo.
Could you take me too? Can I go too?
Of course you're going to go. I mean, you cured the pain. Oh, make sure you bring your credit card, Doc.
Yeah.
Because I seem to always leave mine at home when I.
We're going to the best steakhouse there is,
That's right. So, and
can you imagine if that were to happen?
I would love somebody.
Say, you know what? We got to go back.
I would love. Well,
no one's taken you up on this yet.
You know why? Because they can't lie. All he has to do is show them that the pain is gone. He'll show the X-ray, not the X-ray, what you use, that you designed.
Now,
to see.
how do we know the pain is gone?
Well, first of all, you will see it.
Because
okay, good. I like this way.
We just redo the whole thing.
Right.
Because you have the history and you have the clinical exam, which tells me where it is. We have a special X-ray we do. And no one else does it, by the way, except my son.
Right, it's yours.
And that's the physics deal right there. So without that, you can't diagnose any of these things. As a matter of fact, when my X-ray is not working, I'm really mad. I'm on that phone. Get over here, quick.
Yeah, I've been there when you were yelling.
Yeah.
When the X-ray machine's not working?
Yeah.
So we redo the whole thing, and if your exam is now normal, which it wasn't before the treatment, what else is there? That's your proof, man.
Right. So that's why I can make this bet. You know, there was a note saying, I think it was who was it? It was one of the mob guys many years ago. He said, "Never make a bet you think you're going to lose." So I'm making a bet that I can't lose. Because I can't, you know, it's funny. You could sit and you could talk about everything that Dr. Pannozzo does, and you're going to say, it's not true. I have a gentleman sitting here. I have 3 other people that I refer to, and guess what? Me. And he said, "Where's the pain?" I said, "It's in my ankle." He said, "Well, let me feel." "No, it's not in your ankle." I said, and he got mad at me. He says, "Tell me where the pain is." I said, "I think it's in my hernia." He pressed. You never saw a little Jewish boy jump so high. 2 shots. It was 1 shot in the hernia and 1 shot. I started doing squats, which I couldn't even do.
And you know something, Doc?
Which is amazing.
He's a chicken.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't like needles.
No, I don't.
He sent me into you first.
I wanted to fix his golf swing.
We're going to do that.
When we taped it at LPGA.
Yeah, he won't let me do it.
Look at that swing.
The golf swing is, it's okay. But when you have pain that you can't even bend down, okay, that you can't even bend down. I was talking to a guy at the gym. He said, "Come see me." I said, "What are you?" So I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I said, No. He said, "We'll do some therapy." I said, No, that's okay. I'm going to go see my friend. He said, "Okay, if it doesn't work, call me."
Now you should go see him.
Oh, I'd love to do that, but...
And now is when I will go see him.
8 months, 2 shots. When you saw me walking...
We're not trying to trap anybody, you know.
I would love to see what he has to say.
Yeah, forget about it.
When you saw me walk into that office, you said, "What's wrong?" I said, "You tell me." And they get mad. No, you got to tell me where the pain is. But, I mean, it's so... You know what it is? I think people that are listening to this say it's impossible.
Did we take care of this ACL finally?
Yeah.
Put it to bed?
I don't think it's final, Doc. I think you're going to get a question every week.
You know why?
Hold on. I got one right here. We have so many questions that are coming in. This is from Rick from SurveyMonkey. He writes, "I've been shown," this will be the last ACL, "I've been shown by doctors I have a torn ACL and would need a hamstring ligament to put implanted in my leg. There are hooks and screws that the body will absorb in the long run, but this procedure will stabilize the knee so I can get back to playing football. If the ACL is ruptured, then your procedure will not work, I'm told." That's what he's being told.
How do they know what my procedure is? No one talks to me.
Right.
No. The kid must have gone to see...
Some orthopedic surgeon told him my procedure wouldn't work, but that guy, the surgeon, never talked to me.
No.
Correct. Which was, I'm hoping that today...
So he's quoting me, and he's quoting my reputation, and which is wrong. It's unethical to do that.
He should call... If the doctor's listening...
He should say...
Let me give you...
That surgeon should just tell the client, go see the Dr. Pannozzo, and have him call me when he finds out what we can do for you.
That's right.
That's how to handle that.
That's right.
You don't answer for me.
Right. That's not fair to you.
No.
Well, so let me get Rick. Let me give you Dr. Pannozzo's number that you call him after 12:30. 561-381-5800. He's got his little sports.
Why 12:30?
Because he's got his sports card today. We put the top down. We don't hear the phone anyhow. So that's 561-381-5800. Colleen, we're going to take a break now, and then we're going to come back and we're going to answer as many questions as we can. Be right back in a jiff.
Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County, so if you or somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon.
You're listening to Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you have constant pain and want to talk about how to get rid of it without surgery or medication, or simply want a second opinion, call Dr. Pannozzo now at 1-800-889-0267 to get your pain issues resolved. Now, more of Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour.
Okay, Doc, you ready for some questions?
Yes.
Sammy from Pinterest writes, I had shoulder surgery for a torn rotator cuff injury. It seems whatever they were trying to do did not work on my shoulder pain, and it's killing me now. My question is, can I go see you and have the pain, and will the pain stop, but will the fix the shoulder problem I was having?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Why?
He's having scar tissue.
Okay. So that could, okay. Let me see what else we got here. He tells me to do it this way, do it my way.
Hey, Doc, let me ask you a question now that he's looking for another one. On top of the ankle, on both sides, on the outside of the ankle, is there a ligament on top of the ankle, about 1 inch, 2 inches above the ankle? This is the ankle up here. Is there a ligament there?
Oh, there's ligaments everywhere. Yes.
You know, I have...
The answer is yes.
Before I came to see you, that's where my trouble started, was in those 2 ligaments on both legs. And she's having it now.
Who's she?
Linda.
Oh, Linda, okay.
Well...
I guess we got to come and see Dr. Pannozzo again.
But there is a ligament there, right, Doc? Because...
there's ligaments everywhere.
I can't even cross my legs, because when I put pressure on it, it hurts. So, is that the swelling you're talking about?
That's a local.
What does that mean?
That means it's there, where you feel it.
Oh,
the
so it's not
pain is not there.
You see that, Liz? You learned that?
Yeah.
That's a local. Okay.
I speak to him almost every day.
I know, but I never realized the difference until right now, what he's explaining.
Hey, the physicians have a lot of things that we think about, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta
I can see that.
Keep up with us.
Okay, we got a call coming in, so let me see who that is. I'll take it right now.
The adventures of Les on the phone.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
You're on the air with us. No?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
You got to push the button.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, how you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Pannozzo's right here if you want to ask him a question.
Hello.
Hey, it's a beautiful day here in Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Well, we weren't expecting you.
That's Paul.
It's a beautiful day here in South Florida. So, what are you going to talk about now?
That's the other Dr. Pannozzo.
That's the other one. The guy that flies down here to help you.
Well, you know, when I have a problem, I have to go see him.
Yeah, I know.
And it takes me an airplane trip to go over there. But
well, he's younger. He should come down to see his father.
He takes care of me.
Okay. So what's going on, Paul?
Hey, not much. I was going to make a comment. You know, last night, I don't know if there was a big fight last night.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, headache pretty common after neck injury. And, you know, people, when they have a head injury, you know, even if they have a concussion or something, they talk about, you know, there's, in the literature, they talk about, you know, post-concussive headache, you know, because the brain gets smacked around the inside of the skull from the rapid motion. But, you know, the neck is also moving when you have a trauma, if you're in a car wreck or something, and most, you know, I don't know. We tend to think that the headache is coming from the neck and not from the brain injury. The brain injury makes you forget and makes it, gives you other symptoms. But the pain, probably most likely coming from the neck. You can't injure the brain without injuring the neck. That was my comment. A lot of people don't know that.
Paul, was there anybody that got injured in that fashion in any of the fights last night?
No, I have no idea. I didn't watch it. I wasn't going to pay that kind of money for. I don't follow boxing.
Well, they took Pacquiao in an ambulance. They showed you take him in an ambulance.
Well, that's normal when you get beat up. But you know something? Pacquiao said that the reason he couldn't punch as much as he normally does, he had a bad shoulder, and he should have taken an anti-inflammatory. Did you read that this morning?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
I saw that this morning. He says he should have taken an anti-inflammatory. He went against whoever it is that told him to do it, and that's why he couldn't punch.
Is that possible?
Yes.
Wow.
He was hurt. He'd also bleed a lot. If you take those medications, they tend to make you bleed. So, if he had any kind of, cuts or anything from that fight, he would just bleed and bleed and bleed.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So, that's why Mayweather didn't want to fight him at the beginning, is because he takes a lot of steroids.
Paul, the best thing that I've ever done for myself is watch a slow motion of somebody being punched. And if you watch what happens to that neck and head in slow motion, I don't know how they survive that.
I don't either.
Because there's so many little ligaments in that neck, and especially the causing migraine, and it's all treatable, but you have to know how to do it. And the slow motion, if anybody out there has access to that, you ought to watch it. It's just devastating.
It looks like the neck just gets pulled back.
Well, it's more than that. It's off to the side. It's worse than an auto accident.
So let me ask you a question. I have both docs here. I see a lot of times they put something on the head and they have a weight that to strengthen the neck muscles. Would that prevent that from happening?
No.
I didn't think so.
You can't prevent an injury.
Okay.
There's no way. That's my business, and I can't prevent an injury.
I know, because with such veracity, they hit that, and you could watch the neck like pulling back.
The only way is don't get hit.
Yeah, but that's what Floyd, by the way, it does. He doesn't get hit that much.
That's why he can still speak English.
Yeah. Or even speak.
Well, you get other people in the boxing profession, they can't talk. They're all messed up.
Oh, yeah. So concussions, I would say more concussions happen, Paul and Dr. Pannozzo.
Well, we laugh
Dr.
at this
Paul?
between us, and they're always talking about concussion causing this and that. Concussion doesn't do all that. It can't.
Really?
The pain is from the neck, and it's all true.
You could do surgery on the brain, and it doesn't hurt at all.
Right.
So, I mean, someone can be awake, and a neurosurgeon can have their instruments in the brain, and the patient cannot feel.
Wow.
Pain.
Yeah. So these are the facts. So when you go back and you say, what happened in the NFL? It's a political thing to pass money out. That's all it turned out. It's $100,000 each.
Yep.
Of these guys, all they have to do is say, I have a concussion.
What is a concussion? They use that word so loosely. What actually is a concussion?
Well, that's a good
injury.
question.
Yeah.
Brain injury.
So if you hurt the brain tissue, I mean, that can make you, forgetful, or it can make, if you have some of a bad brain injury, you can see signs, the muscles don't work right, and everything, depending on what part of the brain. You might have balance issues if the.
Well, that's later, Paul. That's a lot later. How do you diagnose a concussion today on somebody?
Yeah.
Don't you have to pass out for a minute or something?
Well, if you feel you can diagnose this through imaging and how they respond to basic questions. So if someone has a really bad concussion, you can ask them a question where they have to think a little bit, and they might not even be able to give you an appropriate answer. That's how you know. But depending on how bad the brain injury is, you can have all kinds of symptoms, but manifestations of it. But you have to have a decline in neurological function, not an increase in one, which is pain. But it's always a decline in neurological function.
There you go.
You have an injury to something
exactly
doesn't work well. You know what I mean? But pain is the opposite. It's too much. So it's.
That's exactly right. How you doing on those migraine treatments out there? Okay.
You guys must talk every day together.
We do.
Yeah, we look at migraine as just had a headache. So we try to get away from that word.
I'm sorry?
Tries to get away from the word
We try to get the patient away from using that word.
Oh, you do?
Just a word.
You're right, because I've seen your dad remarkable.
But in our offices, it means something.
Mm-hmm.
It means a location.
Right.
So
Gives you a place to look.
That's a difference, yeah. The neurologists don't actually examine the neck. They still think that the headaches are from the brain. They're not from the brain. The brain doesn't have any sensitivity. You could cut into it. You could operate it.
You know, I've seen people being operated in the brain to keep them awake.
In China, they do that.
They want you to move your hands. They want to make sure they don't do
that's
something.
Right.
Yeah. The brain is a receptor of electrical activity that connotes a pain.
Right.
Okay, so it has to come from a harmed tissue. And it's electrical. You can measure it. And it goes to the brain, which measures a pain. Okay, but the brain itself is not painful. Isn't that amazing?
That's unbelievable.
I mean, what a design. You know, how this happened, I don't know. But the more you know about it, the more you just...
That's amazing.
How did it happen? You know, it's just...
Well, you know, Paul, if you come down here to South Florida, the weather is better than Arizona. And, you know, Doc can't handle all these patients. You got to help your father out a little, buddy.
That's debatable, but I know if I leave this place for any kind of time, it's hard to make up. Hard to go and check if they have too much.
And you have a lot of people up in Arizona that's going to get a little upset if you leave. Just like here, he goes away for a week. They yell. I take him to lunch. They yell at me.
Yep. But hey, it was a great conversation. There's something I have to get done right now, and we'll call in next week.
Hey, before you go, give us your number out there in Arizona.
623-776-8686.
I'm sorry, one more time?
623-776-8686.
Paul, thanks again for calling. It's always nice to hear the two of you talk. I'd love to be on the other end of one of your conversations.
Hey, great talking to you.
Have a good night's sleep since you're up a little early right now. Take care, buddy. Thanks for calling in.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's give out Dr. Pannozzo's number.
Dr. Pannozzo's number is 561-381-5800. You have your phone with you today? I don't see it in your pocket.
What's that?
Your phone.
It's in my pocket.
Okay.
The other pocket.
561-381-5800. You call after 12:30, and the doc will be more than happy to answer your call. And he'll always answer your call.
His address, 16244 South Military Trail.
That's correct.
Number 740.
740. You can't miss it.
Right across the street from Walmart.
Now let's get some more questions here so these people don't get mad at me. Nancy from Facebook, she asked, I've been told that I have inflammation in my foot and had been given anti-inflammatories, oh gosh, what I tell you about those, to take plus a machine that sends electrical waves into the area. I was told the electrical wave stimulates the area to improve my condition. I have used and seen your show many times. Isn't the inflammation around the foot causing my pain? Will their anti-inflammatories do the same thing? What do you think?
Same thing as, I guess, what you do.
Yeah, what you do. Well, we know
anti-inflammatory. In other words, you take an anti-inflammatory pill, and if it works, it's not the same thing that you do.
No, because let me answer one part of that from.
No, also the electrical stimulation. That's just a moneymaker. Don't do that. There is no reason to do that.
What do they call that machine?
Electrical stimulation.
Electrical
stimulation. No, it has a name. Linda, what's the electrical stimulation machine called?
Linda? What's the electrical stimulation?
A TENS? A 10 machine. Tens.
Well, TENS was not meant for that purpose.
Isn't that a muscle stimulator?
No, it's to block your nerve from firing off. I mean,
really?
The whole thing is, I've never issued one or prescribed one in my whole life, and you're talking about 70,000+ people we've treated.
Every car accident.
None of them required it.
Every car accident patient gets one of those.
Yeah,
and they bill you.
Especially in Florida.
Yeah.
Every time. That's another subject. You want to really get me teed off.
Good. We like to do that. We like to get you going. Well, what we said.
I mean, is
that is the biggest scam.
It is the biggest scam.
Just like acupuncture.
The reason is that they passed a law that allows $10,000 to be had.
The PIP.
Whoever can grab it.
Really?
It's a no fault. It's been abused more often than you know. People are calling me up, 5 years after their accident with the same pain. They never got rid of it because they settled their case because the chiropractor got to $10,000. Then they had no way to get treated.
That's right.
So let me just say this to you.
And the lawyers are in on that. They're all in on it. The lawyers always refer to the chiropractor.
411
They
pay.
say, what in the world are you doing that for? That's not scientific medicine. But they're not interested in that because it's a dollar amount, not anything else. So who does the suffering to create the dollar amount?
Correct. The patient.
Well,
look in the mirror, patient. Look in the mirror.
You know that I got hit in the back in my maxima? Yeah. But I was fine. No pain, nothing. 3 days later, an attorney called and he says, "Are you in pain?"
Yep.
I said, "No." He says, "Yes, you are." I go, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, because
then he goes, "Wait a minute." He goes, "You're entitled to $10,000."
That's exactly right.
I don't want the $10,000.
You're not entitled to $10,000.
This is what he said.
That is for your treatment.
I didn't need treatment. I was fine. She barely tapped me.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
they really
but I
have
could
to
have been
revise it.
$10,000.
I talked to one Republican.
Is that a person?
Supposedly had a good name, and I said, "You ought to do something about this law." He said, "We can't do anything about it," and hung up on me.
Yeah, because he's in on it, Doc.
People are suffering, and I'm talking about the real people, the people who work for a living and they're out there trying to make it, and there's nothing they can do because they'll send you here, they'll send you there, they'll make you get operated, the lawyers, and so your bill might be $100,000. You know how much of that you get? Nothing. You get nothing.
Linda had to sue her own company so that they could pay the $30,000 that were masked up in all these bills because the lady had minimum insurance.
Talking about what we just talked about, I want everyone who does not believe what we're saying, go to this website. It's EDZARDERNST.com. And this is one of the most famous doctors who studies medical procedures, and he says this about chiropractic since we're talking about it. They have a failure to diagnose a medical condition, which I think is kind of dangerous if you're manipulating someone's bone. They do more harm to the patient than the treatment. Cracking the spine doesn't mean anything. And they go on and on. I don't want to read all the things because I'm not saying anything bad about anybody.
Let's get back to the rule here.
Go ahead, get back to the rule.
$10,000.
Okay.
The PIP.
It gets spent so easily because you could put the electrical stim on. We just said it's a scam. Don't do that. On that, then put a little exercise on the machine, and they can charge you $350 a day.
Yes.
Which comes off of your $10,000. So
right.
Linda knows about this, right?
Linda got whacked $30,000. We had to sue Linda's insurance. Her umbrella policy paid for her. Well, not sue. We had to put in a claim. I'm sorry.
No, I know. It's and
uninsured motorist.
And all the $10,000 goes to. I think it goes. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know this for a fact.
Hospital bills.
But some goes to the lawyer and some goes to the chiropractor.
Hospital is the biggest bill.
Oh, hospital. Well, that's another story.
God.
What would you go to the hospital for?
Oh, Linda was hit hard. She was in a. It's just, I have pictures.
Oh, you got admitted?
Oh, yes. They had to carry out of the car.
I thought it was just a little.
Oh, wow. No. She got hit hard.
So, everyone's a little bit different, and we're not criticizing everything. But when you have, like they wanted to do for you.
Yeah, the guy said to me, "No, you're hurting." I said, "I'm not hurting. You're entitled to $10,000." I don't want it.
Do you know this is a fact? When a patient wants to come to me, their lawyer will say no.
When a patient wants to come to you, the lawyer says no.
I'm the top doctor you can get. I mean, there is nobody better. And some lawyers telling the patient, no, go to this guy.
Yeah, because over there there's
chiropractor.
There's repeated
what are you
visits.
Guys doing? What are you doing?
For $10,000, you could take care of half the population in Del Rey and get them all cured.
Our bill for a rear ender for a neck is usually about $700.
Oh my God!
And they want $10,000.
Well, they want to build a case, so they want you to have a big bill.
Doc, you're bad for business.
I know.
You're bad for monkey business.
Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, you're right.
The only business I'm good for is my own.
I mean, they advertise all over. I mean, wherever you look, they're advertising about call this one for pain. It's all these PI attorneys that are calling everyone for pain.
All right, my advice to everybody here.
You got time,
is
Doc.
Make sure you know what's being treated and why.
Right.
If you think you're going to be in bed with the attorney and the chiropractor to get this $10,000, you are absolutely wrong. That
you're
is
never
to make
gonna see
you
it.
well.
You're never going to see it.
You're never going to see it anyway. That $10,000 goes out. You
That's
don't see
gone.
that.
Goodbye.
And the worst of it, after it's all said and done, you're still in pain.
You're still in pain, and now you got to pay for it.
That's right. Then you got to find relief, and nobody there to help you.
That's right. And I don't work for free.
I also remember when.
Sometimes I think I do.
Well, compared to what they're going to go through, you almost do work for free.
Yeah. True.
The bottom line is that people have to understand what separates us from the animal kingdom is we have the right to make decisions. So before anyone has to go in, no, it's true. An animal doesn't make a decision. A shark is put on the planet to do one thing: just eat. That's all he does. He eats, and it will eat you if you're in the water. So what I'm saying to
Interesting
everybody.
concept.
No, well, think about it.
Between us and animals, okay.
If you have the right to think.
Yes.
So why would anyone in there? I'm not saying anyone is stupid, but why in your right mind would you go in for surgery and not ask for maybe a second
why
opinion?
Would you have prolonged treatments?
Yeah, I mean, why would you do that either? I mean, that doesn't sound right to me.
Look, $10,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of treatment for $10,000. So if you're getting no treatment or this, I don't know, what's the term for that? Fluff.
Fluff, I like that,
treatment.
fluff.
Hey, you know
you're
what,
not going to
Doc?
get better. And
You know what? If they offer me $10,000 PIP, I come see you. Let's say I spend $1,000, which is not going to be that much,
right.
and I walk away with the 9 without going to attorneys and everybody else, and I'm healthy again.
That's the way the law should work.
Then you know something?
It should not be going to some chiropractor.
That's right.
Just to make a bill.
That's right. So you just discovered a new way of taking advantage of the system. That
No,
doesn't
but if you look at it logically, the one thing he does, which amazes me, is he guarantees. I mean, the chiropractor and no doctor is going to do surgery is going to guarantee the surgery is going to be
It's
fine.
the opposite. They don't want it to work.
No.
They want a bigger amount so they could sue in the regular court.
That's right.
See, this is only the warm-up.
They want you to come back and back and back and back.
And then they send you to a surgeon. They'll send you to therapy. They'll send you to... And you'll make that bill go up and up, just like what happened to Linda, probably.
You can keep all the money you want. I don't know about anyone else, but I don't like pain. I really don't.
But they should change the law, like you said.
Yeah.
But Doc, I'm going to tell you,
They should make that $10,000 available to the patient. Let him get the best care.
Let him go to where he. Yes, exactly
But
right.
Doc, it gets ugly. I didn't want to tell you because it's her story to tell. But you know, you could lose your job.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can't get back to work.
Absolutely.
All sorts of stuff happened when we suffered through that period.
Right.
Yeah.
And Linda was just at a light. She was at a red light. She got hit.
And you know, people don't really understand what happened to them because they trust the lawyer.
That's
they
right.
Trust the chiropractor, and they don't get better. And they can't go back to work.
Can't go back to work.
So why aren't you going back to work? I mean, you shouldn't be out of work for this.
Can't
is a
walk,
simple
can't
thing.
sit, can't see.
But it's not that hard to take care
No,
of.
it's not.
See, it's not that hard.
That's really the bottom line. All kidding aside,
Anyway,
that
I
really
didn't
is the bottom
expect to
line.
talk about that, but I'm glad I did. That's
Well,
the way
again,
I
if
feel.
you want to talk to Dr. Pannozzo, you could always call him at his office at 561-381-5800 and come in limping, walk out jumping. I like my way better. I mean, I have never yet, and this is coming from my heart, met a man that is so dedicated to helping people. I mean, from scoliosis to migraines, and I think it gives you more pleasure helping someone than money. I think it means more to you to see someone walk out of that office.
We do things that no one else does.
Right.
Migraine treatment, nobody does that. We developed that ourselves. Scoliosis treatment, nobody does that. We developed that ourselves. We guarantee all this, by the way.
And that's the thing, guarantees.
Kyphosis. Do you ever see those people walking around, they can't straighten up?
Uh-huh.
We treat that. You straighten right up.
Guaranteed.
We guarantee that.
Well, I saw somebody who was suffering from migraines. I said, how's the Botox working? She said, hasn't killed my migraines. Do you see, Wes? All the wrinkles are gone.
That's right. I look better. I'm in pain, but I look better.
But I look better now.
Well, but see, if you say you have migraines and you're really going for the Wrinkles?
Right.
Who
That's
knows
okay.
Pain of the
who knows the
wrinkles.
difference?
But the wrinkles come back and the migraine comes back. I mean,
hey, I'm going to sound like
it's very hard to diagnose.
Yeah.
There's a specific criteria for that. We developed that. If somebody wants to know about it, hey, ask me. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'm going to sound like an ambulance chaser. If you're in a car accident, you should come see Dr. Pannozzo because you're gonna walk out with some money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Well, not only that is you'll have no more pain.
But I understand that. But if you're looking at an accident and you got a $10,000 PIP coming your way, I guarantee you're going to end up owing twice, if not 3 times.
And
more.
again, the offer is always there, folks, whether you've had a car accident, whether you have migraines, whether you suffer from scoliosis. If this man cannot cure you with the pain you walked in,
we're going to dinner.
We're going to dinner. In fact, everyone can come. Bring your family. I don't care. You got 20 people, bring them.
I got to get in on these free dinners.
Oh, you're going to get, well, you're not going to get a free dinner because you're going to cure them. Everybody, I can see by Colleen is looking at me like you better shut up, Les, because time is running out.
He seems pretty sure.
561-381-5800. Never bet on something that you're going to lose. I'm not going to lose.
He feels pretty sure about it.
See you, everybody, next week. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy Sunfest, and goodbye to everybody.
Have a good one.
I'm done. I did it.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pannozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pannozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineer concepts for the body.
News, traffic, weather, every 10 minutes from 6 a.m.